Welcome. Welcome, wholeness. Welcome, law of one. That's who you are. You're the law of one. Let's take a journey consciously to the seat of our souls. As we are humans becoming more each moment, you may call it every day, but it's still just a moment to the divine. We are multi-sensory beings, even if we don't know it yet. We are constantly transforming, even if we don't feel it yet. Our energy is given to us and it waits to hear from us. You go, what? It's listening for a vibration from us to create life. And life has come to do one thing, to create more of life. What? It's come to keep the energy of creation going. I know. That might be hard to believe that's what it wants to do. It wants to create itself again and again and again and again. It's been doing it for eons. Hard to imagine, right? We as human beings, we're limited by our five senses. Don't get me wrong. Our five senses are glorious. They were given to us. They're what our conscious or unconscious ego perception uses to give us a commentary of what outside life is about and bring it into us. But the creator of all that is and is not gave us a glorious sense or the experiences of senses that are not physical, and we get to create with them. Ooh, there are tools. Can you feel it? We get to ask them embodying questions when we sit at the seat of our soul, when we expand ourselves into the unknown, the depths of our unknown. I bet all this time, some of you were thinking that the unknown is the universe out there in the wilderness of the unknown. No, some of it, a lot of it, is within you. The more you make known, you thought, the faster I'll be fixed. And I'm going to live this glorious life. But guess what? You're constantly diving into your unknown self. This is what Ra is talking about. You think you know yourself, but ask another question. Hence, we're like about to embark in book 2. Yeah, that's right. There's 5 books, at least from this author. There are many other books that have been channeled and written. And you say, well, doesn't Ra ever rest? He's a vibratorial being, 6th density. He at the time that he channeled this book to the authors, he was a 6th density being, consciousness. So the divine said, and I'm gonna tell you, I was tired today. My physical body was tired, and I was struggling with going to Marcus and saying, can we do this another day? And I said, I just said to the divine, I said, I know you want me to take care of my body, but I'm going to sit at the seat of my soul, and I'm going to ask and embody a question. I feel there's a need. Is it my need or is it someone else's need? And the divine says, I know your body is tired, but I do need you to open yourself up. There's some information I have to share. You can rest in a minute. In a minute. A minute to the divine might be an hour and a half to all of creation that is listening right now at this point, that's waiting to hear what the divine, the all that is and the all that is not, has to say. It's not just us. It's your celestial spirits that are taking care of you. They're leaning in. What does he want to share? What does she want to share? What needs to be known? So we're about to take a journey. Are you ready? I know I'm ready. I'm ready to find out about multisensory. The divine found something that I wrote a while back when I was first starting to explore helping people understand that they need to know themselves and not just the universal tools. That you have to bring yourself to your recipe called life. You're the main ingredient, and that main ingredient vibrates energy. And the more you vibrate as the main ingredients, the more the other ingredients vibrate to you. And you're magnificently powerful. But what is, I think, I don't know, was it in Spider-Man or Batman or something, with when you have tools, you've got this power, comes great responsibility. It's left up to you. The laws of the universe, they gotta work regardless of if you're what you might call asleep to it or awake to it, unconscious of it or conscious of it, or whether you believe in it or not. They're working for you. They're listening to you. They're conspiring for you. Why? Because they have one role to do, and they love doing it. They want to create for you, to serve you. And life, it wants to create more life. So in this now moment right now, in this raw moment right now, because it is raw, that is channeling. Every time we read a book raw, that vibration of raw listens, tunes in. It feels the vibration of it. The raw might not even be 6 density social complex right now. That entity might have already went up to 144. Who knows? But they're listening. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Are you ready, Marcus? Back to you. Or to you, not back to you, to you.
Back to me, back to you. Yep. I am definitely ready. It was a nice week of our in-between space with book 1 and book 2. And now fresh coming out of the Lionsgate retreat. And wow, I feel really renewed. I feel like there's going to be a lot of integrating to do, that's for sure. And it's really interesting to see how much we can really achieve when we actually just take the steps, when we give something a try and allow ourselves to see for ourselves, do we really have what it takes to do it? And oftentimes we find that we do have what it takes when we actually try to do it. Or maybe we have what it takes, but there's just a few things that we have to learn a little bit better to be able to then put it together. But yeah, this weekend has really showed me a lot about, my capabilities and the things that I can do for others, such as hold a 3-day holistic healing retreat, helping people through subconscious reprogramming, helping them through learning the chakras, as well as helping them move through cord clearing, cutting out cords and attachments that they have in their life. It was a really beautiful weekend. And with that, I just feel really at ease and really, really grateful to be here. Really grateful to share this space today and to be able to share these messages. These messages are, they're really priceless. And if we allow ourselves the opportunity, and if we want to, out of our free will, to try the knowledge or try the wisdom that's being shared and just try to integrate it into your life in some type of fashion, you never know what you can experience. You never know what it could do for you, especially if you hear others such as myself and Sandee talking about the experiences that we're having through integrating this type of knowledge into our everyday life. And more than anything, I know for my own self, I just want you guys to be able to experience similar things that I get to experience, from the beauty and the blessings of understanding this knowledge and integrating it so you can feel more connected to the source or to your higher power. And yeah, for me, that's everything. Back to you. Energy soul child. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so we're going to get started. And I do understand why the divine says to do this today. Because it's also about recalibrating, right? So we're going to start with, the questioner says, in the illusion that we now experience, it is difficult to maintain the response, especially if the attack results in physical pain. The questioner says, but I assume that this response should be maintained even through physical pain or loss of life. Is this correct? Now, I'm starting in the middle. This is where the divine wanted me to start. And the divine has a path, so let's keep going. Ra says, I am Ra. This is correct. And further is of a major or principal importance in understanding, shall we say. The principle of balance. Balance is not indifferent, but rather the observer, not blinded by any feelings of separation, but rather full or being fully imbued with love. And the questioner says, in the last section or session, you made the statement that we, that is Ra, spent much time and space in the fifth density, balancing the intenseness, compassion that we had gained in the fourth density. The questioner says, can you explain on this concept with respect to the material you had just discussed? Now, why did the divine drop us in the middle? Right? For you to put your discernment caps on. Right? The divine says we're going through physical pain and loss, and it's about how we imbue it with love, because that's wholeness. We go back to the choosing between positive polarity and negative polarity for our higher beings. But also, our higher beings don't know anything about our feelings. Our higher beings come from a higher state of consciousness. So we were given feelings and emotions to feel them and express them. And we as the human body and the consciousness get to decide if we want to stay in it or not. But our higher being says, talk to me. You got to explain why you're feeling this way about whatever it is you're feeling. The divine says, whether we're going through or maintaining physical pain or loss of love, or loss of life, or anything like anything that we're going through in the lower polarity, we have to balance it with the sense of who we are in love. And the law of one is equal and the same as the law of love. They're one and the same. The questioner says, or rather, let's go back. Oh, okay. I didn't finish the divine just told me I didn't finish the last sentence that the questioner says. So I'm going to read the whole one and not stop in between. In the last session, you made the statement that we, that is Ra, spent much time space in the fifth density, balancing the intense compassion that we had gained in the fourth density. The questioner says, could you explain on this concept with the respect to the material you just discussed? Ra says, I am Ra. The fourth density, as we have said, abounds in compassion. This compassion is folly when you see it through the eyes of wisdom. It is the salvation of third density, but creates a mismatch in the ultimate balance of the entity. Why does it create mismatch? Here's what the divine is telling me. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Is when we move into a fourth density consciousness, when we expand and we grow with, you got to understand, we don't have to die to move into consciousnesses. As we shift, grow, learn, expand, and evolve, we move into the fourth density, the fifth density consciousnesses, but we may be tied and anchored for right now through our sensory, through our physical senses in third density. But fourth density shows you third density with love. And sometimes that causes a disturbing disconnect, because as you're starting to see certain situations and certain conversations differently through the law of love, the people that are trying to understand why you're not responding like you used to respond, they're still there. That causes conflict. It's your growth and your expansion, but it's not theirs. Right? Did you hear that? It's your growth and your expansion, but it's not theirs. And here's the kicker. You can grow and expand in one area of your life and be totally shut off and in the dark in other areas of your life. And that creates discord as well, or distortions as well for yourself. So Ra goes on to say, we, as a social memory complex of the fourth density, have the tendency towards compassion, even to martyrdom in aid of other selves. When the fifth density harvest was achieved, we found that in this vibratory level flaws could be seen in the officiary of such unrelieved compassion. You start to see your flaws with, you start to see other people's flaws with compassion. You could be a person who never used to do it that way. You were always in the judgment, and you could always judge people easily and effortlessly and move on. But all of a sudden, you had a moment where a quiet moment where your ego stepped back, and you had a moment to move into a consciousness where you and your higher being could be actively in fourth density compassion with a situation or a circumstance or a conversation. And it moved you and it shifted you. And remember, you don't have to die to go and be part of the fourth density consciousness. You don't have to do that by moving up there. You can do it as you're growing and you're expanding. As your energy quotient expands, it expands the consciousness of how you view your outside world. Ross says, we spent such time and space in contemplation of those ways of the Creator, which imbued love with wisdom. There are a lot of people that want to learn something, but they don't want to learn it based on love. They just want to spew something. Spew means to say without thinking, without understanding, without loving the fact that you are the same part of wholeness that you are judging a person about. Or you're judging a person because they've grown and they've expanded and they're not like you anymore. Or you're not like them anymore. They don't see themselves when they look at you, because it used to be you were their mirror. That's how we bring this information right into our life experience and how we use this information. It's not just using it for the spiritual woo-woo. I got to get to where the divine is. I got to get where Almighty is at. I got to get there. There already came to you when you were already came with you when you were given this physical form. The kingdom of what some might call heaven, or I call the realm of absolute, came with me when I was born into this divineship of a formed story, a formed story. And that formed story, as soon as it got in the center of all this quantum movement, has to change, has to grow, has to expand. And it started with moi. So the divine says, also, tell them what the next questioner asks. The questioner says, I would like to try to make an analogy for third density of this concept. Many entities here feel great compassion for reliving the physical problems of third density. Other selves by administering to themselves in many ways, with food, if there is hunger. Okay, I think it's a run-on sentence, so I missed a comma. I'm gonna slow my roll, because the divine says slow your roll. You get excited, Sandy. Why, thank you so much. I just read a comment that says I'm a divine teacher. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm an open vessel to a divine teacher. Okay, the questioner says, I would like to make an analogy for third density of this concept. The questioner says, many entities here feel great compassion for reliving the physical problem of third density, other cells, by administering to them in many ways. With food, if there is hunger, as there is in African nations, by bringing them medicine, if they feel that there is a need to minister, and being selfless in all these services that are great or great for extent. The questioner goes on to say, this is creating a vibration that is in harmony with the green ray or the fourth density, but it is not balanced with the understanding of fifth density, that these entities are experiencing catalyst and a more balanced administration to their needs. Would this be provided to them with the learning necessary to reach the state of awareness of fourth density? Then it would be in to minister to their physical needs in this time. Is this correct? Ra says, I am Ra. This is incorrect. Want to hear that again? I am Ra. This is incorrect. To a mind, body, spirit complex, which is starving, the appropriate response is the feeding of the body. You may extrapolate from this. On the other hand, you are correct in your assumption that the green ray response is not as refined as that which has been imbued with wisdom. This wisdom enables the entity to appreciate its contribution to the planetary consciousness by the quality of its being without regard to activity or behavior, which expects results upon visible planes. You can feed a person without expecting to get applause. You just do it from your love space, from your heart space. You don't have to do it so that somebody else can see it. You can know the wisdom, but how do you apply the wisdom? Are you applying it with unconditional love? We have our five senses, yes. How do we imbue that or take that? Here is our five senses, right? How do we take our five senses, our physical form, and meld it or combine it or with our spiritual form? And here's our consciousness, and bring it to wholeness. Back to you, Marcus.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bum, bum, bum.
One of the things that I taught over the weekend was about the multi-dimensional layers of the human body or the human being. And I was teaching and demonstrating. Let me find it real quick. always using diagrams for people so they can get a visual aid of what it is that's being expressed. Just because this knowledge it's quite sophisticated when it comes to describing metaphysics and multidimensional layers. So here in this image, so you can see on this image here, you can see that there's many different layers that are contained within the aura. So our aura as a whole is our whole entire energy field. Our energy field is also ran off of electromagnetic energy. And then keep in mind when you're looking at this two-dimensional image that this is a two-dimensional representation of what is three-dimensional and beyond. So this image here is still, according to our eyes. But keep in mind when you're observing and studying that this is a representation of something that is living, moving, constantly in motion. Our energy field, that is, and our whole entire being is always vibrating. It is always shifting energetically. It is always in constant motion. And whether we are conscious or unconscious of ourselves in our day-to-day life, this is still happening and still going on. And with that being said, all the things that we are energetically consuming, that we are experiencing and absorbing into our energy field through our magnetism, it can begin to cause distortions. It can cause blockages and density within our energy field. And then this can lead to manifestations of illness and disease, as well as depression, anxiety, feeling disconnected, and other things as well. So the thing I'm going to hop on over to with this, when it comes to what it is that we read, with the merging of the physical with the higher self, the merging of the human ego with the universal consciousness. So when it comes to our human being, this diagram is showing you the in-depth details, the more finer details within that of how it is that you can merge or integrate your higher self into your lower self. So you can think of your lower self as the physical human being. The higher self would be your soul, which is beyond your energy field, beyond your aura, beyond this earth and existence here. So if you look here at this image, layer 1 is the etheric body. The etheric body is also known as the energy body or the light body. And that energy body or light body, due to its position of being the first layer outside of the physical body, it is referenced as metaphysical, due to it being between physical and pure spiritual light. So along with this energy body or metaphysical body, this is where the chakras reside as well. So our chakras, chakra in Sanskrit means wheel of light or wheel of energy. So these wheels of light or wheels of energy basically act as rotating portals or gateways for layer 1 to 7 that you're looking at in this diagram to be able to be experienced, expressed, and integrated into layer 0, which would be the physical body. So without these energy centers called the chakras, without our whole entire light body blueprint, there would be no bridge, there would be no mapping system, there would be no matrix to be able to experience the other layers or dimensions of our aura. So with that being said, the more that we are clearing our energy body, the more that we are aligning our chakras, the more that we are keeping our meridian centers open and flowing with our chi and prana, then that light body system will be more online. And the more online that light body system is, the more fluid, the more clear, and the more integrated layer 2 through 7 is in balance and flowing through in a healthy fluid motion your physical body as well. So with that being said, this is also a key to our intuition. Our intuition is being able to have natural guidance from higher consciousness flowing through us. And the more clear we are, the more we have these centers online, the more intuitive we are due to the energy or the dimensions of consciousness that are able to flow through us naturally. So each chakra of the 7, they are all related to different mental, emotional, and physical states of our human being. So for example, your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra governs your perception. It governs your manifestation into the world. It governs your intuitive and psychic senses. Along with this, it also, whenever it's blocked or has blockages in it, you're then more prone to having nightmares and insomnia. And then lastly, the third eye is also the home or the energy center for our circadian rhythm, our human bio clock. So when you learn these kind of things, you can actually address directly at the chakra through chakra practices, frequencies, and more. You can go directly to all of these different traits and all these different things that it represents to then start being cleared and being recalibrated and balanced by directly going to the chakra, instead of trying to do one thing at a time from the outside in, so to say. You can start from the inside out, and what you can do is you can start at the root cause and then clear out the roots that lead up to it. So yeah, just to close out on that, when it comes to the actual finer details of merging higher consciousness with the lower self, these are the kind of everyday life things that we can focus on in order to achieve that, or in order to have a more deeper connection with this nature. Back to you. You're on mute.
Forgive me. My dog was having a bad dream while he was speaking, and I had to, I kept having to, kind of calm him, So, but he's better now. He's rested. He's back to sleeping and snoring. What I was saying was, I love it when a well-oiled plan comes together, as B.A. Baracus used to say. On I think it's the A-Team, right? It's the wholeness of the divine has everything gloriously orchestrated for us. Even though the divine is perfect vibrational energy that has entered into a lower dimensional life form, does not say that the divine stops being perfect. The divine is experiencing a realm of energy that the divine is creating itself as. That's all Ra is saying. Every time Ra refers to the law of one, the one true creator, that's us. We're just in human form. As many other realms that the divine plays in as itself, we're one of those forms. We're a part of that wholeness. The questioner asks, would a perfectly balanced entity feel any emotional response in being attacked by they call it the other self? And Ra says, the response is love. Yes, this is correct, but the response is love. They're talking about possibly a person having a fourth density consciousness, let's put it this way, having had a shift and consciously shifted into fourth density, still in the third density story or earth plane. We can do that. We've probably done it and probably going, how come I see things differently? I remember when, 2 years ago, this would have devastated me. And now it doesn't even faze me. Now the answer comes easily and effortlessly to me. The moment I take notice and intention of who I want to be in this situation or circumstance, it just comes easily and effort to me, like there's a magic wand. And that's you looking at your situation or your circumstance through the response of love. That's fourth density. They're only talking about one aspect of fourth density, which is love. Right? And this is saying this is how you can become this balanced entity. Doesn't mean that's all you're going to always stay that way. That's why you have many people waking up and learning or adhering to their gifts and talents and skills and homing them in and create being creative with them and growing with them so that they can help you utilize it and take it for you. Not just to make money or have status, though there are people who do that. And they get to do that. Why? Because that's an expression that that's a life story that they're expressing. They get to express life from lack, or they get to express whether it's a lack of love or a lack of money or whatnot. They get to express their story from that, so that they can learn to become a balanced being, if they so choose. Right? A balance, and Ra calls us entities. Most of the time, we're just another entity in all of the whole of the expanse of the divine, seeking itself in physical, in one of many physical forms. Doesn't just have to be a human being. It could be a tree. It could be a slug. It could be a turtle. It could be a great big alligator or crocodile. It's seeking itself in form. It's seeking to be balanced in form. Right? So let's keep going. So the questioner says, why do we have the extreme starvation problem in, and then he takes the comma and he says, generally, another comma, the area of Africa at this time? And that's at this time that this book, that the second book was written. The questioner says, is there any metaphysical reason for this, or is it purely random? Haven't you ever heard somebody say, well, it is what it is? It just is. It just happens, right? Ra says, I am Ra. Your previous assumption was correct as to the catalytic action of the starvation and ill health. However, it is within the free will of an entity to respond to this light, or to this, well, not light, but plight. It's not a light plague, but plight, right, of other selves. Other selves meaning that we're all wholeness, but we've got other selves of us that are experiencing things. I didn't even really get the gritty of other selves. Marcus is experiencing one self, and his other self, known as Sandra, is experiencing something else. But we're both wholeness and we're both divine. So Ross says, however, it is within the free will of an entity to respond to this plight of other cells, and the offering of needy or needful foodstuff and supplements or substances is an appropriate response within the framework of your learn, teach. You learn how to be a giving person. You learn how to be a compassionate person. But the gift of compassion you were born with. Because you never used it, you learn how to use it. The gift of compassion is within you, but you have to call it forth and then learn how to use it, and use it with wisdom and understanding. Learn how to use it from the gift of giving instead of a gift to yourself of hoarding. Right? Ra goes on to say that within the framework of your learn/teach or teachings at this time, which involve the growing sense of love for and service to other selves. Remember the last time we talked before we took our break between book 1 and book 2, we found out what service to others probably means. I know what I found out it means for me. Service to others means that it's service to all, to the wholeness, and I am included in the wholeness. And then the negative polarity is service to self only. You don't give a fuck who you climb over to get what you get, just as long as you get what you get. And then your intent is to keep what you get at all costs. Yes, there is divine purpose in all things, even though we as human beings might not see them as divine. Right? Then Ross says, on the other hand, however, you are correct in your assumption that the green ray response, response is not as refined as that which has been imbued with wisdom. Now you got to understand, we do a lot of things as human beings with wisdom, but if we don't have the embodiment or the atmosphere of vibrational atmosphere of love guiding it, tell me what we get. Sometimes what I see a lot of, sometimes I can tell you what I see. You can't have a war and say that war involves love. You can have war from wisdom, but most of the time it's not backed by love or unconditional love. You can have love for self, but war can't be for the glory of the law of one. But the divine says, if you want to have a relationship war, the divine says, let it be so. Do you get that? Take it or receive it. I kind of understood it, because as a kid, I always wondered why we have so many people dying for war. Why can't they just be peaceful? That's what I used to, up until about my junior high school, last year of junior high school, first year of high school, when I had to take civics and all that other stuff. I just couldn't figure out why people just wouldn't love each other and stop killing each other. Right? Ross says, this wisdom enables the entity to appreciate the contributions of the planetary consciousness by which, or by the quality of its being, without regards to activity or behavior which expects results in visible plane. That which you expect to see. What do most people say? I'll believe it when I see it. I used to hear that a lot from the grown-ups around me. I'll believe it when I see it. That brings you into limitation. Because then your ego is going to try to find something that resembles that, but it can't find it because it doesn't know infinite possibilities. It doesn't know to look outside the box. It doesn't know to go beyond the confines of limitation. It knows to keep giving you a limited version. You're the entity of creation. Back to you, Marcus.
The entity of creation.
The entity of creation.
So do you mean that in every moment I'm creating myself?
And at every moment, when you're looking at someone else, you're looking at them creating themselves. It's so paradoxical that you could understand it and then just go, wow, it's not even a brain fucking freeze. It's like, oh my God, everything just totally shifted. Because when I'm looking, you go from that fourth density, I see everything, and I see everything through the lens of fourth consciousness love. It totally changes you. You can see other people and see the love in them, even though they don't see it in themselves. Right?
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, you see what I found is at the same time that I'm seeing myself as this higher being who was, before it took took my form, it was sitting in a vibrational playground saying, okay, I want to play this and I want to do this. And I've got this gorgeous body that I've created. And all the playmates got together and said, okay, well, you know, if you do that, I need to do this. And we're going to play on this thing, right? And when you look at, and I'm going to use the example that the questioner used, is people starving in Africa. When you look at that through your form eyes, and you feel that, most people, they feel that with their emotion, that's, I can't believe people are starving in Africa. I can't believe this is happening. You know, that we're at this world where nobody should be starving, blah, 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 right? But here's the thing is, once you get to once you move up the densities or the consciousness scale, and you start to see it through a different conscious lens, then you look and see that they're all having the story that they're playing out. And at the same time that you want to, for me, I want to help and I will help. If I can give it, if somebody says, do you want to donate to, the children's homes or whatnot, I do donate. What I put out comes back. But at the same time, they're having this story about lack. They're not seeing themselves through the lens of prosperity. And prosperity, I'm saying, is through the lens of being prosperous, where they eat, at least to have one meal a day. So you got to say, let me. Well, how do I help the form and get the higher being have the story that moves them forward? I know I can merge my body and my form, but how do I teach somebody else how to do that without usurping their free will? That's what Ra is saying. These people have the ability to change their story. They're not starving just because somebody's keeping something from them. They've got a spiritual story that's going on of expression. And when you actually get to that part in it, it blows your fucking mind, because now you're kind of going, okay, I got to throw the rake out of the yard because the rake doesn't work on the grass anymore. I got to go get me a proper lawnmower. And then I've got to find one that works on the top grass as well as on the soil without stripping the layers. That's definitely the divine, because I don't know nothing about mowing a lawn. Whoa, right? This is what Ra is saying. You got to go. You've got the deep of the. Let's put it this way: when you dive underneath the ocean and you go below the layer of the top weight, it might not be all love and light there. But the deeper you get, the more clearer you find yourself, because you open yourself up to an infinite answer for your highest and greatest good. And remember, I always say one size doesn't fit all. So get in where you fit in that answer, and take what resonates for you, and then grow and expand you, and then say, now how do I move it forward? Ra is telling this guy, them starving is not just about what you see. Here's another example. You could have something going on in your body, and you could go to Marcus and say, well, you know, I need to eat better. I need to do this. I want to take your workshop, or I want to do your retreat or whatnot. But if you are not 100 completely vibrationally on board with your healing, no matter what he gives you, no matter what diets he suggests to you, no matter what you take, if you are not vibrationally embodying you and your healing, what the fuck is going to happen? You're going to still have the pain. Your gut is still going to be heaving. You're going to be still constipated, or you're still going to have back pain. Right? You can look at him and say, oh, you look so great, you do so well, blah 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 blah. But if you don't bring it back into you and get to the center of you, the one where all the creation, all that energy is stored, it ain't gonna move. He can't move it for you. I don't care what I do. If I go to Marcus and say, I got all this back pain in my lower back, and which sometimes I do, and I'm internally working on that, but that's me. I have to go into me, and I have to, some of it is either physical or some of it is spiritual or mental. I have to go find that. What Ra is saying is, look beyond the physical eyes and see why that story of starvation in Africa is that story. Because it's not one big giant group. They just happen to clump together because they have the same vibration. But it's each individual person having a story of lack. Doesn't that blow your mind? It's not saying, I think I was reading some of the book, Think and Grow Rich, right? And the guy was saying, well, there was a, like I said, you take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And this part did not resonate with me. The guy was saying that it's not about you going out and giving somebody money when they're hungry. It's you teaching them how to go out and get their own. And I said, well, what I put out, I get back. So if I help this person eat for today and then give them the opportunity that they can come and learn from me, that's okay. But I'm not going to turn my back and not let this let this person go hungry. And I had a friend who says, no, you have to let them go. You have to let them be. And when they're ready, they're going to figure it out. But I said, but if I have it by me, I'm going to make sure the person eats. If I have it by me, if you never know when a woman who's living on the street is having her period and she needs, I can't buy. I had a friend who says, well, instead of giving them money, I just go buy them something. What if they don't need it to eat with? What if they needed to buy tampons or socks or underwear? Or cold medicine. Just because a person is homeless doesn't mean they're not going through shit like that, right? So Ra is saying, when you've got a mirror of yourself, the mirror that you have, you can look at your past and see where you were. It's not about you fondling over your past and whatnot, but you can look and go, oh, I've been where they are. Let me see how I can help them. Why? Because they are me and I am them. That's wholeness. We can see I remember my mother telling me that there's a very thin line from having a home and being homeless. It's a very thin line to cross. Doesn't take much. I didn't even know she was teaching me. I think I got that at, I don't know, she gave me that bit of information when I was 8. And it was, I think that was the first and only time she wanted us to eat something off her plate that we tried it. We didn't like it. I don't know. I think it was black eyed peas or something. But the thing was, it was the person that was over for dinner said, oh, you need to eat that because there's starving kids in Africa. Right? And of course, like, what's that? Are we scraping our plates off and we're sending that as a care package? I didn't get that. But then my mother says that is a very thin line for having and then having not. And Ra is saying the same thing. Look at the whole picture. Look at it from, you got it from the form. Now look at it in the spiritual context, and then combine the two. And then lay your consciousness over it. We barely use less than 1/10 of our brain power, of our conscious mind. And guess what? Our conscious mind, take it or leave it, is in every cell of our body. Our brain is just a processor. So imagine if every cell of your body is your brain, and your brain is talking continuously to each part of your brain and then uploading it to your brain processor. Imagine how much freaking power you can yield. How much freaking power you can wield. And that's how Ra is trying to get us from seeing the problem here. And he says, open it up and see it here. And start to bring all this, incorporate all this vibrational information into it. Possibly. Back to you, Marcus. I love divine words of wisdom.
Yeah, she's been sharing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, could you put that last one that she shared up on the? I would do it, but I'm getting better and better. With that one situation, many perspectives were generated from it for the evolution and the experience of each aspect of consciousness and experience. Each infinite possibility. We have almost getting close to 9 million people on the earth. Billion.
It's what they say.
Imagine how powerful. Do you know? I really think that my perspective of this is we should already be a memory complex.
Oh yeah. A little bit of resistance along the way.
Yeah. Imagine. Ra just says that the response to the problems that we see is love. And when they wrote this word love down, the divine says they forgot to put unconditional love. Not just love, not borderline love, unconditional love.
Yeah. What happens if we meet it with something else? typically conflict.
We've seen that in all the wars we've ever had.
Yeah.
But if you meet it with unconditional love, the same kind of love that you want to see somebody give you. Yes, that's right. Love that just is. That's all. That's what Ra is saying. If that situation that is being looked at, and back when this book was written, there was a lot of stuff going on back in Africa. Not just hunger, a lot of illness, a lot of discord, a lot of things. What if the situation was met with love? What if the request for an answer was met with love? I'll give you the question again. The questioner says, would a perfectly balanced entity, I love being called an entity, feel any emotional response in being attacked by the other self? The other version of wholeness that you're looking at, that is you, but it's just another version. And all Ross said was meet it with unconditional love. Right? You can say, well, my unconditional love is before, because we go to, like, somebody comes at us, and the first thing we want to do is just react. Bow, right? They're coming at us, and we just want to go, I'm going to knock you out. Or you go, I'm going to step back. What the fuck is going on with you? Talk to me. Right? I'm ready to listen. Unconditional love is saying, I'm all ears. If they're ready to talk. If not, then my unconditional love is for myself. I'm stepping away. Because I unconditionally love me, and I don't want you to pummel me. And also, I don't want to fight you because I don't want to hurt myself. That's unconditional love. Either it's unconditional love, I'm going to try to dissuade, try to calm the situation down and say, tell me what's going on, because it can't be me. What am I reminding you of? Or unconditional love, I want to protect myself. I don't, you know what? When you calm down, I'll be here for, to have a conversation and get the hell out of Dodge before somebody pummels you, or you're in a situation that isn't for your highest and greatest good, and it won't mirror back to somebody to be their highest and greatest good. Now, yes, the situation might not be an easy one, but if you're looking at a third density construct from a fourth density lens, you might see the unconditional love for both of you as, I got to walk away. That's an example. We're still having an experience. We're still walking through and having an experience. We're still expressing ourselves. It's about which way we want to express it. You are bringing me back. Now, I am bringing you back to what? Back to one. Another version of unconditional love is to also allow the experience to just be without judgment. Exactly. That's unconditional love, is to not judge it. And you don't even have to make a decision about it. You could just listen to it and go, okay. And I'm going to tell you, that's how you know, when you do that a lot, that's how you know that you're looking at a 3D situation through a fourth dimensional or fifth dimensional lens. It's when you just go, okay, you know what, I just got to let this be. I'm not going to have a response to it. I'm going to walk away. And it doesn't matter what, somebody else says, you're just being a coward. You just walk away and let it be. Why? Number one, it's not going anywhere. And then when it comes back around to you, you're in more of a calm moment to have that discerning chat with that energy. Well, what did you want from me? What was I supposed to yield to myself to understand it? Then once I understand it, then you say, what type of person am I going to be when I speak to this person about what just occurred? Am I going to do it through unconditional love? What's my unconditional love going to look like? It's not just about, his example was about the famine in Africa, but even that, you meet it with unconditional love, and instead of having a reaction, and you want to go out and you instead of going and blowing up a corporation who you think is responsible for the famine in whatever part of Africa, you go, well, who do I want to be to help these people, get more food to eat? How do I want to be? What's my intention about doing that? Because you certainly could get up and pick up a picket sign and go and picket, but are you doing it with unconditional love? Is that going to make them eat that night? That's all Ra is saying, is think of the bigger picture. Stop seeing it with your physical, and ask those to see it with the eyes of your spiritual. Show me some depth. And the divine didn't say any living life was going to be easy. The divine asked the higher being, do you want to go down there? Oh yeah, you want to go down there? Okay, well, we'll put everything in its proper place. We'll give you, create. Here's the clay. Create Sandra the way you want to create Sandra. And then when it's time for you to enter her body, we'll let you know when it's time, so that you can take that dive into her and become, merge as Sandra. And then here I am. My life wasn't super perfect, but if I hadn't went through the things that I went through, I wouldn't be the person that I'm sitting here today. I'm not going to say I smiled and said, oh, leave me, telling my ex-husband, leave me, that was great. No, it was a story that had to happen because my higher being wanted to experience something. It wanted to experience what the essence or the vibrational form of lack was, or the vibrational form of being unnoticed or feeling unworthy. And Ra's just saying, hey, look deeper. Look deeper into those vibrational questions that you're asking. Another version of unconditional love is to also experience, to just be without judgment. How we respond with the conditions is guidance of where we are vibrationally, energetically. Yeah. That's all. And Ra's saying, where you are is where you are. Where are you? Ra's saying some of the questions I can't answer because I can't usurp your human free will right. I can't usurp your authenticity of the human experience. But I can tell you, dig deeper. The questioner says, then why do we, the questioner says, this is creating a vibration in harmony with the green ray or the fourth density, but it is not balanced with the understanding of the fifth density of these entities are expecting a catalyst and more balanced administration. As you're shifting and you're growing and you're accelerating, you're expecting something. You're looking at the end result. You're expecting the end result to be love and light. You're expecting. You're looking at the end instead of just living in the now and shifting from fourth density consciousness to a fifth density consciousness, just seeing you're living in a third density state of being. Because that's all it is a state of being, something that's being formed. Then when it's done being formed, it goes back to being formless. But we as human beings, we don't let go of the form. We want to hold on to it. But Ra is saying, stop looking to the end of the story and live it. Just stop being the one that says, I'll believe it when I see it, and just go out and step out on what people might say is faith and just go with the flow. Imagine what life would be if we just all had this experience of living life right here with us in this big bubble called me, and me having all these infinite possibilities and all these stories. And Marcus was next door in his bubble, sitting having all of his stories and everything. And every once in a while we crossed each other's story and we had a great time. And then we go, oh, that was fun, and go back. And we're not in each other's polarity stream. We're not in each other's higher polarity and lower polarity, making judgment about it. We're just as kids looking over and going, oh, this is cool. Hey, are you having fun? And Mark is saying, yeah, are you having fun? I'll say, yeah. Want to come over and visit? Oh, ask mommy or daddy, can you come visit with me for a little while? And come visit, and then we play. That's all our higher beings wanted to do. They didn't want us to make it about work. They just wanted to have an experience and just keep experience, let go of one and do another. We're the ones that made up. Okay, the divine says we're the ones that believed that we made a mess of it. I love how the divine said that. We believe we made a mess of it. And if we believe we made a mess of it, then guess what? The divine is going to say, let it be so. Back to you, Marcus.
That's very true. And so I was talking about the subconscious mind and programming on Saturday. And part of that teaching is I was emphasizing and talking about, the beliefs that we are choosing to believe. the words that we are choosing to cast on ourselves and on others. And I use an example of the doctor. So say you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you that you're never going to be able to repair your spine and never walk again. So, boom, that happens. Now, the tide shifted to you. Now you're in a free will moment of what it is that you want to now choose to begin altering your reality. Do you take on the belief form of the doctor that you will no longer walk again? Or do you remember the divine power that is within you? The natural healing ability of the human body. And choose to say that I believe I'm going to try. I think I'm going to take the steps to try to walk again. Because I believe in myself. I believe in the possibilities. So that's just an example of how far our programming can go. How far our beliefs and limited beliefs can go as well. And keep in mind, this applies for everything in our life. Whether it's family, friends, community, whoever it may be, teacher, you do not have to believe what they are wanting you to believe. And I just remind us of being able to see through labels, being able to see through classes and pedestals, platforms, names and images, as sometimes we can kind of blind ourselves as human beings due to attaching to these things, these words that I just used, such as, class or a label, or, this person is certified in this, or they are at this degree of this. Just remember that there's still room for them to not have beliefs or information that does not resonate for you, regardless of that status. Just remembering that we are each unique, and the paths that we walk is of know thyself. There is not another that is walking in your shoes in the same exact way. Now, yes, similar, sure, but not the same. Similar, but not the same. And similar is not the same thing as same. So, with that being said, I invite you all, now or in your own time, whenever, to take a journey. Take a journey into what I call subconscious inventory. Take a look into your subconscious for a moment. See if you can identify if there are any thought patterns that have continued to disrupt your peace, to disrupt your fluid flow. If there are any attachments mentally, such as people, places, and things in past experiences. Are there any wounds? Are there any PTSD-like symptoms from those experiences that are continuing to cycle and affect us? And then checking in your subconscious inventory, are there any unconscious limited belief patterns or unlimited beliefs or limited belief systems that are running through our mind? And I oftentimes do this inventory on myself, if not daily, because of remembering not just the importance, as everything is important in equal measure, but just to remember the purpose and the effect of what the subconscious is for the human being, and how if we are just continuously on autopilot and on unconscious states, that we are bound to have a continuous unconscious flow of our subconscious moving into our conscious mind and distorting and projecting into our reality. And with that being said, that can also be a contribution to continuous karmic patterns, as well as continuously attracting same type of relationships and other dynamics. So the subconscious mind, also known as the causal chakra of the 12 chakras. Remember, it's always collecting information. It's a autopilot container, basically, that whatever you're watching on your TV, whatever you're listening to through the radio, whatever it is that you're seeing going on with your roommates, your parents fighting, all these different things collect through our conscious mind into the subconscious. And wow, the patterns that some of us can develop without even knowing or being aware of how these experiences have caused such patterns inside of us. And then that's where inner child healing comes in. Generational pattern clearing. Last thing I want to mention as well with the power of the mind is, man, remember that turtle medicine. Remember that turtle medicine. Slow it down a little bit sometimes before we speak. Remember to ground a little bit. Remembering how powerful, how potent the airwaves are that come out of our vocal box. Very powerful and very potent spells that we cast. And this is another thing we can do inventory on. Where have I been kind of impulsively saying things? Where have I been catching myself saying these very negative thought patterns or limited beliefs about myself? Such as, oh, like, I'll never be able to do that, or I don't think I'll ever be ready, or something very subtle like that, it's programming you. It's training your subconscious mind to know nothing but that. If we're continuously in repetition of repeating this to ourselves. And the last thing I want to talk about with the subconscious is, our human being is designed and created off of patterns. That's why if you look at it in a two-dimensional sense, patterns is what makes up the human being as well as everything else in creation. So if we're designed off of patterns, and if we are in continuous repetition of these patterns, and we're using intention with that as well, then that is how we are bound to be programmed, attuned, or shifted into. So if we can remember that simplicity, and then just remember the patience that comes with knowing that it's a process, a multidimensional process, that is, as in it's a mental process as well as emotional, and it's a physical process. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time for us to see things in the material realm or in the physical realm. And that is due to the nature of the physical body being the most dense or the lowest form of your layers or your bodies. So yes, it takes a little bit of time sometimes to manifest things due to the vibrational layers that the energy and the information has to move through, which is called manifestation. Whew.
Whew. Whew. All right.
Wow.
Our unconscious mind, you have to understand that we were given it. It was created in us. It's part of creation. It was part of the amnesia that we had, that it was created and it was there to sustain us until we came online as a triune person. A triune, I love how Rob puts it, entity. It's not evil. It's not doing anything bad to us on purpose. It's got a set of guidelines. It came online with a set of rules that never got updated. Why? Because we are supposed to be doing the updating. Your computer and your phone, they send you automatic update. They'll send you an update, and you get to have them in two ways. You get to set your phone and and to where you can have the updates come in and just automatically update your phone. Or you get to set them and say, notify me of the update, and then I'll do it manually. But if you do it manually, that means you have to take the time to know what you're updating. But you're responsible for pushing the button that says, go ahead. You actually physically have to push the button. I know I do. I don't have automatic updates. I don't allow automatic updates. I want to know what my phone is doing. The same thing with my unconscious mind. I want to know what my unconscious mind is doing, what is feeding into my conscious mind. So here's the thing, when you become aware that you are awareness, and awareness is always aware, then you get to know that you can sift and sort through it. And you can go back through your childhood traumas, your teenage traumas, or your teeny bopper traumas, or your young adult traumas, or your old fogey traumas, whatever it is. You get to go and you get to sift and sort through it and and here's what you get to do. You get to tell your ego, show me. You get to allow your ego to be part of what it was supposed to be a part of, the whole life story. It only thinks that it's separate from everything. And while it's thinking it's separate, it's only thinking that it's got to protect you and preserve you. It just doesn't know how to do that from beginning, middle, and end of a story. It just knows to keep going back to a certain set of file drawers that have some information that might work for whatever you're going through in your now moment, but it doesn't guarantee it's going to. And what Ra is saying is, when you're dealing with another person that has, number one, triggered you first, it's not your trigger. It's not, they're just triggering or activating something that's already inside of you. It's already there. Even if the person is just being a negative naysayer, or even if that person is just being a bully, the moment you get triggered by it, or you have an automatic response to it, you either get to do two things. You can respond back, and you can respond in a manner that might be considered negative, depending on how you view it. And usually that's not until after you actually go into automatic, fight, flight, or response mechanism. Or you get to discern it and say, why does this shit keep coming up? This is the third person that's activated this feeling I had. What is it? Show me that which I cannot see with my physical eyes, because I'm not seeing it, but I know it's there. Why? That's the moment you say that, you become aware. And the moment you become aware is the fact that awareness is aware that you're aware. Did I just kind of totally fucking confuse you? But that's what it is. The moment that you become aware, its awareness is saying, you're aware. What do you want? What do you want to do with that? And then you say, I want to sift and sort. I want to find out why this shit keeps coming up. Because I can't do it no more. Every time I get rid of one boyfriend and I find another one, the same shit happens. It's just a different person. Well, what's the main component in that? Sandee has to say, me. I don't like it, but the main dot in it, the main big dot with all the guys or all the gals hanging around being the same kind of shitty people that they are, that's me. Now, no, I'm not responsible for their shitty person that they are, but that energy that was attracted to me came to me for a reason. What programming do I have going on in there? And programming is just energy. So what am I attracting? That's the story. That's what Ra wants you to see. That's the mirror. It's not an exact mirror, but that's the mirror. I'm a mirror image to the people who are coming in my life, upsetting my story, upsetting me, blah, blah, blah. But why do these different people with the same vibrational makeup keep coming? Well, if each of the people are different, I'm the main ingredient. If I'm not sifting and sorting and looking and changing and updating and hitting the update button, who is? And if I find out who that other person is that's updating and it's not me, I need to break some knuckles, because they're making me feel awfully bad. And we know it's not somebody else. We know Sandee doesn't have to go break somebody else's knuckles. I need to do it to me. Because I'm the only one. With great power comes great responsibility. And I've got all this power. And I have to be responsible to myself. And all Ra is saying is, look at the mirror. When you look at the mirror, Who's looking into it? Person you're looking at is wholeness. They are a unique individual expression of the divine, whole and reflecting to you. And all Ra is saying, meet it with unconditional love. How you do that, what your unconditional love looks like to you, Marcus can't tell you who that is, how that is, and I can't tell you how it is. But you can sit at the seat of your soul and see what comes up to you when what vibrates for you. We were given feelings and emotions for nothing. We weren't meant to spiritually jump over them. We have to feel them. It's just, how long do you want to feel them? How long do you want to be in the story? When do you want to opt out? And guess what? You don't ever have to opt out. You want to be a victim? You can be a victim. The divine isn't going to stop you from that. That's the story. That's an expression. Ra is just saying, look at it. Because in your mirror, you're going to see the other version or the other you in it. And if it isn't in alignment with you, you get to release the other you. You go, oh, that shit, that's like some fucked up shit, right? How could God do that? I think it's ingenious. The other me, the other unique, authentic version of a version of me that's not really, when I look at that other version, it's not me. It's kind of like, who is it? It looks like it could be my sister, my brother. It could be my great uncle. It could, but that's another version. The other self. That's what Ra is saying. When you see the other self in the mirror, it's pointing you in a direction. Where's it pointing you to? Back to you, Marcus. Whew. I could be on here all day, but I can't. Back to you, Marcus. Are we going to have a meditation before we leave? Just a little scan. Do we have time?
Yeah, we can
that
definitely
was
do
the
one,
word I
actually.
was searching for, the common denominator. That definitely, Patrice, common denominator.
Would everybody in the comments like to do a guided meditation? Put yes with a green heart.
Yes. I also wrote down a while back that being a multisensory being, which we are, that's what we came as that. We came as all these things. We have so many labels for them, but when we start to view our world through a different consciousness, the first thing that we find out is we're multisensory, that we're more than just our five senses, right? And it's not to say multisensory is not better than your five senses. It enhances your five senses. It's just growth. It's just growth. See, we're thinking that we're moving, we're not good enough. And I've got to strive to be better. I've got to strive to get to this become multisensory. You're born that way. You're born with everything in you. You just got to do a deep dive. And sometimes Going into the unknown is scary. Sometimes you look at people all the time who you say, oh, they're daredevils. They're always doing something, and they're always trying to kill themselves. No, they're just looking for more expansion and freedom. That's just how they do it. And you say to yourself, I could never do anything like that. Just like Marcus says, that's a limitation. That's programming. There are some people that the programming didn't take, and then there's some people who broke free of the programming and didn't know they broke free. But just because they do it one way doesn't mean you have to do it their way. If you need to take baby steps, take them. If you need to take one big giant leap, take it. Be you. Because as you are a part of the wholeness, you are a part of the wholeness as a unique expression of all of the divine that is and that is not. When you understand that, it's like this. Here's the point. Here's my nose. That's the center. That's you. And then it goes out and out and out. That's life. That's experience. And out and out and out. And what did we just do? We came back to us. You had an experience, and here's the infinite possibility. You get to have another one. Out and out and out and out. Experience and out and back. This is you. You're the point. You're the convergence of all that is and that is not, that it is experience in itself and all that it has created. You're the point. My dad told me I would have this pointy nose for a reason. So did anybody respond to the...
I think Divine Words Wisdom did. I'm not sure if everybody really caught what I said.
Jamal Marshall said yes. And
oh, that was before that.
Oh, that was before that? Okay.
Well, either way, we can still do it.
Yeah, if you have time, I would love to do it. Hi, Crystal Penelope. I hope all is well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We can definitely do it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to mute because I know sometimes my throat chakra, it releases, and it's been releasing a lot this week. So.
All right. To go in. We are about to go in, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about the journey. All right. Let's see. Time meditation music. Let's go with... There we go. Okay. All right, so everybody go ahead and get comfortable. And as you get comfortable, checking in with the back. making sure that our back is straight as much as possible. Checking in with the shoulders, making sure that our shoulders are relaxed and released down the sides. If you're laying down, having your legs straight and not crossed. Making our way to the jaw, making sure that we are not clenching our teeth. Bringing focus to the breath, breathing in through the nose, drawing the breath all the way down to the earth. Exhaling out of the mouth. Continuing to breathe, breathing in through the nose, down to the earth. Exhaling out of the mouth. Focusing on this breath throughout the meditation, as the breath will move you deeper into your layers, as well as move you through your layers as they rise to the surface, to consciously be acknowledged. How will you acknowledge these layers today? Will you acknowledge them with observation, detachment, unconditional love? Or will we attach to them? Will we resist them? The more that we stay with the breath, the more we may move through and clear these layers. So ask ourselves, how seriously do we want to take ourselves in this moment? Do we really want to use this space for what it is made for? Staying with the breath, and as we breathe, guiding and drawing down the thoughts as well as any emotions that may be flowing uncontrollably. If there is anything at all whatsoever that you may be struggling with or continuing to have a pattern with that you would like to dissolve, you may consciously with your mind bring it forward and acknowledge this energy. And as we continue to move with the breath, feeling golden flakes, golden specks of light, and shimmering and making its way down onto the body, feeling this radiant, tingly and butterfly-like golden energy begin to sprinkle and dust over our skin like a light rain. And as this golden energy of light begins to coat our skin in layers of our aura, it begins to dissolve any toxins, any impurities, begins to recalibrate, to regenerate, and bind together the parts of our DNA for balance. Feeling this golden light make its way down the crown chakra at the top of the head, clearing our connection to the higher dimensions of light, to our guides, higher self, to source. The golden flakes of light make its way down the third eye, clearing any distortions within our perception of wholeness and balance, bridging and binding our left and right hemisphere. Making its way down to the throat chakra, clearing away any resistance and vulnerability, clearing away any experiences of suppression or rejection. remembering your value, remember the love and the power of your vulnerability, of your expression, co-creativity. As we continue to make our way down to the heart center, the heart chakra, clearing away any conditions that we have placed upon love, so we may be free energetically in unconditional, ever-flowing love. And making its way down to the solar plexus at the abdomen, activating this yellow center, shining, expanding, vibrant yellow rays of light. Let go of the second guessing. Let go of feeling like you're not capable. And remember that you may access divine willpower at any moment that you command, that you choose, that you tell yourself, I am going to access my willpower. Golden flakes of light make its way down the sacral, clearing away anything that is causing resistance in our feminine nature, in our ability to feel our emotions. And finally, make our way to the base at the root chakra, beginning to feel our base, feel our root expanding, flowing, and grounding our human being. And as we breathe, the golden flakes of light now begin to form a golden shield of light around your aura, around your energy field. When you're ready, you may return back to your physical body and return back to your environment.
There's a lot of throat chakra clearing. Ooh. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. tu ase.
Awesome.
Ma waze se no kwane e. Ma wa ate o ate e lo hakia no. E to. Ma kwana he se suluku uche na tate e. E sholaku ate na. Alaki shushu no tuku u na. Che shulaku ota e se loku aku ate. Bawate si shulaku ate suna ate na. Se loku uche na tuku u na aku ate. Padaku e. Bahagia no shena ta ia toko na te kiku le mihi se loku ota te e se. Malaku asia no ko ate e se na tote e se no wa le mihi. Moko ate no ko ate ndeka e toshena. O shena totuki e. Alekim. Ale me chusha shanata ia kai kake e se na toko. Bahagia ta e se. Manuko e se noko chuchu toko tote. Te o to te tu kia soda ka e. Malaku o te shelaku o chio no toku o ta e se na. Aluku o ada e so toku o ta te ke. Alaki shushu no to toku e na te ko. Pali he na. Pa shushu no to. Jesa na te e se so. Alaki mo toko a. Parkia tota takia na te. E se no to toko a te ana. E se to tata ia. Kai se soloku otai. You're sovereign. You're free. You have always been that way. Maluko ate na ia so sono toko o se na ki se soko u ampo. What you see is what you see. What do you see? Maluko o se soloku uche na. Sholoku uche na you sin. Yeah, solo. What you know is what you know. What do you know? Maluku ata se na toko uche na takia se soloku ucha a de na ia so. Maku atena. Seeing is not knowing and knowing is not seeing. Oloku uta es senatatia. Beautiful. But it's okay that you see. It's okay that you know. Oloku oshi se senatakia nate natai. Do you know you? We know you. You haven't asked yet. Takes me back to my mom teaching the first Bible verses. Ask, believe, and receive. Divine just wants you to sit down at the seat of that is your higher you and ask an embodying question about you. It only is unknown for just a few minutes until you ask the question and hear infinite possibilities of answers. Then you make it known. At least a little bit of it. Ra doesn't have all the answers. Ra just gives you a couple of books that lead you to an answer. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't.
Time for me to eat dinner.
Time for me to go get some more water, some more living water.
Wow.
Take what resonates, guys. Leave what doesn't.
Thank you to all of you for tapping in for the first episode of book 2, as we are now in book 2 of The Law of One, Raw Material.
You see all my
Thank
bookmarks
you.
there?
And thank you to all of you that have been on this journey with us since day 1, which was back on June 3rd, my birthday. And then 3rd episode was Sandee's birthday as well. So yeah,
12.
we're on 2 months strong now of these wonderful Ascending Beyond Limitation podcasts. And I just can't thank you enough to each and every one of you that participate in the comments, add even more life to the party, and share your experiences. It's really beautiful to see. So thank you to each and every one of you. And we'll be back on Wednesday.
10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What is that? 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Are you ready to deep dive a little bit more? I hope you will be by then. You'll catch your breath. You'll kind of have a little more room to say, I want more, I want more. We'll be ready.
All right, everybody. Thank you again.
Take
And
what
remember,
resonates, leave what doesn't.
and don't forget as well, find space to integrate. Integrate this knowledge up until the next episode and see what it does for you. Be really interesting.
Yep. Put it, use it in real life. That's where you find out if it works, if it doesn't work. Or you find out, wow, I can be the creator of this information. I can change it. Yes. It's meant to grow and expand you. And growing and expanding is just another way to say changing. Changes. Let's
there it is.
A little David Bowie, baby. All right. Anyway, everybody have a glorious, if it's down under, it's going to be Monday afternoon. If it's Eastern Standard, it's Sunday evening, and it's Sunday. It's kind of late Sunday evening for me, and Mountain Standard and East Central. Everybody's having an evening. Enjoy it. Don't think about Monday until you need to. Be glorious.
Wholeness and balanced love.
Wholeness and balance. Unconditional love.